I think I may have figured out some of my streaming issues, finally. Not only... Well, I won't dive into it too much. But... using AMD settings that say it's for Twitch are lies, and you shouldn't listen to them. That's a lesson that I think I've learned. The stream seems to be going fine now. Let me go over to Twitch and just look at it and see what we have. Go over here. There's my stream, looking good. Let's bring the quality all the way up. All the way up. And we'll full screen this. Yeah, okay, so it's it's diving around. But that's fine. I don't care. I don't care. Yeah, it seems okay now. So, I don't know. I don't know what was going on. But whatever. It's a mystery. We'll never know the answer. You're going to reopen Restream here and going to get going. Hexagon matching game working. Refactoring data struct. I hope you're doing well. Do 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 do. Let's view the page here. Today's the last day to vote for submissions. Time's almost up. I've stopped voting. The votes have. I think everyone's kind of stopped voting. So, what time is it? What time is it going to be in at? 3 hours. We're going to find out in 3 hours, ladies and gentlemen. Who? What? Won? Okay, so. So we were, I was doing a ton of work on the data stuff, and I was kind of stuck on what to do about movement. Like, how do I do this? Like, how do I move things around when the data changes and fake movement when I need to, because sometimes you can move pieces that aren't going to match and they go back when they don't, and so you don't actually want the data to change and all that stuff. So what I ended up doing was I created a resource, and then when I want to test movement and just see whether or not like a rotation will result in matches, for instance, in this case, I make a duplicate copy of the board that I'm using, and then I just do the actions on that are destructive, and then I do a test to see if there's matches after doing that movement. And then I return true or false when based on that. So now I can clone the state of the board really easily, run the these functions that I've created for the resource against that, and then see what I get. And then the other thing that we've got going on is the whole seed concept, where each board has a seed, and we can use that thusly. Let's see about, let's get our, speaking of seed, we're going to add a labla, and we're going to call it seed, seed, and there's our labla for seed. We're going to move it down here, labla, I don't want to override the theme. I want to set the theme overrides, colors, fonts. Here we go. La bleu. It is a la bleu. I guess we'll do this teensy tiny one. And this, that looks pretty big. Load. Load. La bleu. Credits. We're gonna use the credits one. Okay, hang on. Clear. Let's load up a la bleu. Credits. There we are. There's our la bleu. And we're gonna grow in a line to the right, and we're gonna grow to the left. To the left. To the left. To the right. Anchor. Grow direction. Here we go. Horizontally, we're going to go. Does it begin? Yes. Okay. Now we have. What did I do? I broke. Somehow I broke this other stuff. Quick load. Masara. What did I do? Okay, let's not save. Don't save. Don't save. I know just what you're thinking. Blah blah. Seed. Uh-huh. There's our la bleu. And theme overrides, fonts. Quick load. Credits. And then we're going to go a line to the right. To the right! And then the grow direction at the begin. And there we go. Okay. La bleu. There's our la bleu. Or our seed. To the left. To the right. And, okay. So now at the start of the board, we can say that making a bunch of connections right here. Seed dot text equals board resource dot from seed, and this is going to need to be cast as a string. A string. How do we get to the end quickly? Is it shift? No, that's to highlight. La bleu. To the left. To the right. And what happened? Oh. Let's run it. I think it's going to crash on me. No. Okay, so there's our seed. Ha ha! Okay. Alright. To the left. To the right. I'm not using my computer programming glasses. We need to be diligent about working on machines. He's beginning to believe. What is this? What did I find here? What is this? What's AGC limit? Function. What is this? AGC limit. Let's bump this up. And then let's bring down our exposure. Manual. Huh. I don't know what that is. How does it look on stream? He wonders. Do you see what I see? Ba 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 ba. Do you see what I see? How do I get rid of this thing? Ah! There it is. And then this. I have the chat up, but I don't need this crap. How do I get rid of this? I'm the streamer. I'm the streamer. I don't need to see this. Ah! Oh well. Okay. Okay, so we have this rotate pieces here. So board, rotate cell. So here's what I'm thinking. We're manually setting right here. And what we need to do is we need to have some sort of function called like swap cells. And this is going to take two vector threes, two and from. Okay. And this will send out a signal saying the same thing. Move cells. No, swap. Maybe it should just be called move. Two. Move cells. Cells to move. Should be singular. We'll call it move piece. Move cell. So it's not. We're telling it not to. We're not moving multiple cells. Hmm. So this is the that's the type to move. So if we this isn't hmm. So So cells to rotate has our starting our starting location and then the direction we want to move to. So for each cell to rotate and cells to rotate, we're going to set from equals cells to rotate. So it equals, this will be our key. var2 equals the value. And so then move cell goes from to which we don't even need the variable declarations, but I feel like it makes it a little easier. Read and then okay. So this isn't going to do it for me. So what I was doing here was I was getting the type value because I needed a list of what it was going to be. And I feel like I've done this backwards, where this should be the value or the type, and this should be but the other thing we need to think about is we should be storing the type and a pointer to the piece. Bullet bar. Type equals. Okay, so now we have a reference. Hmm. Not sure. I'm gonna set a timer. 2 hours, 40 minutes. I'm excited. I don't know if the results will be up right away. I'm gonna kind of check the Discord to see. Um, I'm deep in thought. I can't talk about what I'm thinking because it'll distract me. So but what I was working on in particular was setting up I mean, we could have a function called get cell type. And it would be QRS location, which would be a vector 3. And return cells QRS front, which would be the type. Then so for cell in cells get cell type. If cell type equals null, and we reset it. Otherwise, it return null cells. Anywhere that mentions cells, we're going to look at more closely. Hmm. Okay. So Els, how's it going? It's a lot of typing word stuff. Yeah, I'm doing a pretty significant refactor. I'm learning a lot. I'm definitely this is gonna change how I approach data, certain kinds of data problems in the future. For sure. But with what I was doing with this particular project, I was having issues with the like when to do certain setting the data and then having an action respond to that data, like animations or whatever. And like when those animations finish, then I need to have something else happen, and like how to stack all that stuff up so that it's doing it the way I want it to be doing. So right now I'm just trying to separate the data structure entirely from the parts where I was trying to animate things and make things move and do all that pretty stuff. And then I'm going to take those animations and all that and try to create a system so that when I'm waiting for those things to finish and whatnot, that's all happening sort of far more easily than the way that it's doing it right now. How you been doing? Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. How many kids? But he's the tricky one. Yeah, it's interesting how different they all are, huh? What's hexagon matching thing? Oh, you mean what's this? Have you not seen what I was working on? Oh, okay. Let me show you real quick. So this is, but I haven't. So this is as it is. So what we have is a hexagon matching game. If you promise me that you'll learn Rust, I'll follow you. Jesus. No. Hater, I'm not doing it. I can't make those kinds of promises and just to get it one follow. What are you trying to do to me? All right, so so we match five or more, and we get a rotation. So that doesn't result in a rotation. This does not result in a rotation. But if we were to rotate this here, we'll get a match. So, and then rotate that there, we'll get a match. So, that's what I made for the Godot Wild Jam, is this game here, basically. Yeah, so there's a lot I want to do. To it. It behooves you to kind of focus in the center, but sometimes you can't. But there's the things that I'd like to set for balance and whatnot. Thank you for the follow, Hater. I hope I'm saying that name right. But anyways, yeah. So this is. Busted this out. Actually got the sounds were done by BitBionic, which you've probably seen in the chat. He was able to help me and bust those out, which was really awesome. If we rotate, there's a way to bring all these together. Here we go. Look at that! I don't think I've ever gotten a match that big before. So, but yeah, so that's what I submitted for the jam, and then they locked me out of updating my own game for voting. Right now I'm using Godot. So yeah, so that's what I did. This I was able to bust this out. Somehow I did this in 11 hours. So yeah. So that's the game, but the thing that I didn't have working by the time I did the submission was I didn't have a failsafe. So sometimes there's going to be a point where you're on the board and there's no matches you could possibly make, and I didn't have time to get the fail state going. So that's something I was working towards, and that's why I'm doing this big refactor right now. Part of the reason. The jam votes will be over in about 2 hours, so I'm eager to see. I don't know if it'll show like where I placed or anything, but we'll see. There's plenty of other games that I think were far better for the theme, and just plain old better games. And I think the thing that's going against me is I made a puzzle game that's a matching game. Oh yeah, I should have done something like that. Done some sort of scoring system. Give me a second here. I've got the wife messaging me. Gotta check it. Let's see what she's saying. I think so. Yeah, so I'm pretty heavy into a refactor right now. So the game's not in a working state. It looks identical, but there's this number here is actually pretty critical. I've set it up so that we have a seed system for the puzzles. So if somebody runs across a problem or something, they can send me a screenshot, and this number here is the seed that the puzzle was built off of. And that'll help me determine maybe what was going on. So right now we're trying to figure out why the heck my button inputs aren't working. And I suspect it has something to do with ignore input. Let's see. Yeah. And the other thing too is we'll be able to have seeds that you can like I mean that means that we can plug seeds in. So somebody can say this starting board is really cool or something once we get other things going for the game that don't exist yet. I do want there to be a better sense of progression. I want there to be an infinite play and a play that you're playing towards. You reminded me I worked on a hex puzzle game for iOS that I totally forgot about. Someone else's project, but I was on it for like a year. Yeah, so right now our inputs are not working. So let's try and figure out what's going on there. This is already better though, I think. Thank you. Yeah, it's weird, dude. I started making it and I was like 4 hours in and I'm like, I kept joking, like, am I making a game? Like, is this a game? It was like, this feels like it's our original thing. Is this a game? I kept saying that because it just like, it didn't feel real. Let's do a break on this. We'll do a break on both of these rotates here. Let's see if we're hitting them at least. Okay, so we are hitting them. And then rotate is firing, but then nothing happens after that. Oh, that makes sense because we're not actually firing any rotation stuff out of that. The one I was on was like a side scroller above that you controlled your character by doing matches in the hex grid. Different color matches were different moves. Oh, I see. No, so one of the things I'm going to do with this, the like quality of life stuff that I want to do is when you're hovering over an area, I want the shape of what your hover is to be I'm going to call it a flower, but it's like a ring, but the actual flower of the total of 6 hexagons that you're actually rotating. So I want the outline to be that shape as you're moving around instead of just the center one. I think that'll help people conceptualize what you're actually rotating. The other suggestion that I'm going to play around with once I have the data sets refactored here is somebody has made the suggestion, because I'm forcing their move to go back if there's no match. And somebody was like, well, why don't you just let the rotation happen if there's no match? And that way people can kind of try to set the board up to do something. And so that's interesting because that could change the meta where you're like shifting pieces around to do like a mega match, right? Which would be interesting. And it might change the game. But I feel like I'm in sort of, I'm in that Tetris-y space. The game is, you could earn matchless. Now you're thinking like a mobile game designer. I don't know about that. Imagine Tetris. Imagine, well, you'll get the straight piece if you have enough points. I know. No, I get you. But I want it to be like pure, not where, I don't know, but we'll see. I mean, the point that I'm doing with the data structure is that hopefully it'll allow me to just be able to bust out ideas quicker and be like, well, let's try this. Well, let's try this. Well, let's try this and see what we get. And because right now it's the data changes and all that are so coupled with animation and the what the player is seeing. I have to strip those things apart so I can start to F around with them a bit more. Oh, I see what you're saying. That's an interesting idea, though. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I spent a whole day on the jam doing gravity. So originally I had set it up where when you did a clear, the pieces would fall towards the center, the ones that were no matches, and then new ones would generate it on the edges. but it actually created this situation where you just end up in this almost like an infinite loop of matches happening. Just because, like, as you're reducing a color match, or type is what they actually are referred to as, then those you're reducing the pool down to a lower amount of types. So there's a higher probability of those types having matches. And then those types get lowered down to a lower pool, and then those types have a higher probability of getting matches because they're all kind of compressing inwards. It's like a defrag, basically. And so it created this, just like, it was just too easy to stay in the center and rotate in the center. Right. Yeah, and I feel that way about the matches that come in. I want there to be, like, Tetris has that here's the next piece coming thing, right? And that would be interesting to be like, here's the next 5 colors that are going to come. You don't know where they're going to come. That sounds dirty. But they're going to. I'm sorry. I gotta get my head out of the gutter. All right. Okay. All right. Let's get your head out of the gutters, guys. Jeez, man. I don't understand. I don't understand you guys at all. Ugh. Gross. Don't be gross. I'm not either. I like Bejeweled and all that stuff. I don't know. Bejeweled at least keeps it coming from the top only, and the oh man. And but yeah, the thing that's different about this than say Bejeweled is that you have to think, because you can match on downwards, so X, Y, and I'll call it a Z axis. So you can match on 3 dimensions in this game. So you have to think about the matches in a 3-dimensional way instead of just two dimensions like on a Bejeweled. Yeah, I need to get like a green screen background and then just get like a hot tub pool thing and put me in the hot tub. Okay, so we're almost there to what's going to happen now is when we actually rotate the cells, that function here in the resource sends out a signal, is going to send out a signal. And I think what we need is I have an old GBA game that is similar to what you're making now called Dial Hex. I'm afraid to look at any videos that people suggest. Somebody had sent me one, and my game was nothing like it. But I'm afraid to get influenced by other folks. So the pieces form a hexagon. It's a hexagon made out of triangles. I see. And they're falling. Do you fail when they fill up? Oh, so you're trying to match a hexagon. Yeah, see, they did the thing that I'm probably gonna end up doing, which is to draw an outline. I see. Oh my gosh. Look at all those colors. It's like a Rubik's Cube. That's exciting. That's a cool way to end it. A certain number of hexagons to clear. Yeah, see, that's an interesting way to do it. So maybe you're trying to get smaller clears initially, and maybe you're trying to get bigger ones later on or something. That's a good way to do it. That 8 color level looks insane. Yeah. Ah, Satoru Iwata. Yeah. So yeah, I want an infinite play version, and I want a version that ends, or has like, you know, state progressions, some sort of progressive system. Let's have something called move pieces. And what we'll do is move cells. So it will be called move cells here. And it'll be a single value. It'll be an array of pieces from one point to another to move to. So what we'll do then is on our rotate cells, move cells will be an array, and we're building out which ones to move here and the locations to move them to. Cells to rotate. So this isn't can rotate. Okay, can rotate. If hex cell QRS equals cell QRS, and this should be get type. Get cell type. Okay, let's see. And there we go. Rotate. Invalid call. Expected 1 arguments. Okay, so we need the cell and the direction. And close that out. So yeah, it's just kind of tedious work to do this. Here we go. Okay, so it is spitting out this data here, which isn't what we want. This is the QRS. And this is the cell value. These names, these variable names are just no good. And then let's print. Okay, cool. So now we need to fill this move cells thing up with values that we're going to do an array that includes the a reference to the piece. So we'll go cells QRS. So cells board location QRS. Fill this out. So var piece equals back. And then we have our two positions that we're moving from, to and from. So board location QRS, rotate location QRS. And board location should really just be called current. Let's do current location. And we'll call rotate location to location. And I guess now that we've done that, we could call current location from location. And now we're starting to make a little more sense here. Okay. So then we have this move cells array that we're building up. And we need to, once we're done, we swap all the types for the actual data. And then we say move cells. But we could just emit the signal move cells. So emit signal move cells. And then we just pop out our cells that we're moving. We don't need this extra function now. And we just need to make sure that it's like that. It is. Let's go back up here and move cells, move pieces, and then move pieces. Move pieces, and we'll call it a piece. Pieces, which is an array. And then for Almost there. So for piece, so piece array and pieces array. And then we have 3 values in that array. So we're going to call the first var piece, which is going to equal 0, from, which is going to equal 1, and 2, which is going to equal 2. Now, we're going to bring this code back in. And this is where we say new position, XL to point piece size. From. So we don't need from, because we're going to tween our present position. So we'll just ignore that for now. So we're going to have this 2, new position, which, okay, so we'll go like this. Okay. To point. Space is used on a. Why are we talking about spaces? I don't care about that. And piece to rotate is just piece position, new position. All right, let's see if this works. Yes and no. It rotated the wrong direction. Okay, we're backwards in our directions. Okay. And the other thing that we're not doing is we're not doing the it's piece dot move. Piece isn't declared in the current scope. It's right there. Oh, maybe if I. Oh, you know what would help if I spelled things right. All right, let's try again. Okay, so almost there. So our rotation direction is weird. Rotate cells. Sure. Seems to be backwards. Well, let me do a button on that. Okay, so we are braking on that. But then we're going the wrong direction. So maybe my from and to locations are backwards. There we go. Let's retry again. Other direction. Okay. So yeah, my from and to locations were backwards. All right. Well, I think this is working. The work that I've done is coming along pretty well. Um, yeah, I mean it's funny because it looks like I'm just making what I had before. Um, but there are some differences here. The data is emitting the request to change the state of the board instead of us changing the state of the board and the data. Um, uh, and so when we do something like this now, rotate cells, that's what's sending that signal there. Can rotate. Now let's check that out. See if that's because we shouldn't be able to do these outside locations. Right. So we shouldn't be able to. So can rotate. Something's wrong with can rotate. So let's look at this closely. So for each cell in outer ring, okay, that's not what we want. So maybe our default should return true, and then we go, and we just say, if cells has so if cells does not have this hex cell, then we return false. Otherwise, we return true. False is all right. Let's try again. Shouldn't be returning. That's returning true. Sorry, this is happening off screen. That's also returning true. So, we're doing a blank here. It should be like this. Okay, I think this is going to fix it. All right, there's our false. And that's also saying false, which is not true. We don't even need center hexel. Cell ring can rotate. That should not have returned false. Outer ring is an array. Get ring. Size. Should only be 1. Okay, we're getting there. Okay, that's false. And that's true. Okay. So this is good because we're not just checking the outer ring. Okay. Okay. And so I'm calling it the ring. Let's just call it ring. We'll call it rotation ring. Okay. So that's actually a better way to do it anyways. Because now if we decide that we're going to have things that maybe we're not going to have perfect rings and that there will be some valleys where there's no cells or something, I won't have to do any extra coding. It's checking all around and going, are there enough things for me to be able to rotate on here? And if not, then it's just like, okay, I'm not going to. Okay, so when the rotation finishes, we need to clear matches. So let's look at that. I'll be right back. I'm going to get the water going. It's hot. My grass is dying. So now we need some sort of clear matches here. So we're going to have this function. Hey, you. Did you have fun today, Orion? Did you have fun? You want to stream? Well, I wasn't going to do because I figured that's kind of like class, right? I'm going to try to finish this up, yeah. Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Give me. You want to say hi to everybody? Hi, guys. I'm streaming today. It's going to be programming. Okay. So we have get matches here. So this returns a list of matches. So then we'll do Hmm. Well, I think I'm gonna take a break, and I'll be back at this. It's a little mind numbing. To be honest. We have an array of matches. So clear matches could trigger this. And then we have this all matches completed here. Yeah. Okay, well, it's coming along. I will. This will be the first version release too. Once I do this, it'll be put up after after the voting has ended. So this is exciting, and this is pretty big refactor too. I imagine it might introduce some bugs, but I think it'll make it easier to squash them, and all that kind of stuff. So, all right. Well, I'll be back until next time. Probably later on tonight. See ya. How do I end the stream? What do I do? There we go.